A very good morning to all my dear students. Once again, on behalf of Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, I welcome all of you for our today's law class, the live coaching classes that you all are having for CA Foundation. So I hope you all have revised the previous lecture, the definitions of conditions and warranties. What are the conditions? What are the warranties? And I'm glad to have your good morning wishes. Let me just take your name, Jigyashu, Rohini, Anand, Manish, Durgesh. A very good morning to all of you. Sarvas, Durgesh, Preeti, Chaitanya, Gurleen. Gurleen is asking, ma'am, what are actionable claims? You still hold a doubt from your chapter 1. So I'll just tell you, Shristi, Sakaldeep, Ziba, Manujunathan. Good morning, children. Dhwani, Lakshita, Ziba. Okay, there is Manisha Tehlani who says that I am May 22 foundation student and I scored 78 marks in this paper and I'm really grateful and thankful to you. Thank you so much, child. I'm so happy to read your comment and thank you for writing such a kind of lines for us. Thank you. I'm glad that Institute has been able to help you with good marks and all thanks to you for such lovely words. Vagdevi, Divya, Avdesh, MD, Rohan, Rahul, all of you, very good morning. Yes, Mr. Abdul, definitely I remember and congratulations to you also that you have cleared your CA foundation. That's great. Okay, Gurleen again has a question. What is document of title to goods also? I hope, child, you have attended the first lecture that I took with you. That was last Wednesday. So you can even refer to that lecture, but still in a short language, I will just try to tell you document of title to goods are the documents which shows the ownership of the goods. So tomorrow, Gurleen, I want to sell you something and say, for example, you're sitting in Delhi and I'm sitting in Chandigarh and I'm transporting the goods from Chandigarh to Delhi by railway station, by railway. So the goods are coming in train and the railway authorities will be delivering the goods to you. Now, how will they come to know that you are the true owner of the goods? So what I will do, me being a seller, I'll sign the original copy of document of title to goods, means a railway receipt. It can be a railway receipt, airway bill, bill of lading. You'll get clear what all these documents are. You can refer to the first lecture. Otherwise, a lot of time will be taken if I start explaining each and everything again. But just for your understanding, it is a document which shows the ownership. So once you will reach the railway station in Delhi, when the goods reach, you just show that original railway receipt and the goods will be handed over to you, presuming you are the true owner. So whosoever is holding the document of title to goods is considered to be the owner of those goods and the goods will be given to that person. Good morning, Priya Pandit, Akash, Shalani, Shirindi, Tejashri, Manvi, Vishnu, Sonali, Anchal. All right, Saurabh. Dinesh, congratulations. I'm really glad that you have also cleared your CA foundation. That's nice, students. Many of you have jumped in just to tell me that you have cleared your exam. Applause for all those who have cleared. Good. And all those my present students will feel more encouraged and enthusiastic that next time they will be writing to us that, ma'am, we have also cleared CA foundation in first attempts. So my good wishes for that as well. All right, now Priya Pandit will be again talking about the reference of section 13. So you can pay attention at that time. Yes, Sanjana, you will be able to catch up the topics even if you start studying from today. No problem in that. So children, where did we leave last time? We have done what are the conditions, warranties. Let me just open the presentation for all of you. Okay, Jia Patel, when we go to the study material, just remind me about that particular MCQ and we will discuss at that as well. Rafika, Himanshu, Duram, you all have joined just now. Good morning to all of you also. Jigyashu, no worries. You will be able to clear next time. I'm glad you got good marks in law this time and you couldn't clear, but so don't worry, you'll be able to clear it now. Don't worry in that case, okay? What are implied conditions, Neha Agarwal? We are doing the same topic. So, Rishi Garg. Thank you, Miss Anjana. Rishi Garg, you can send your question once again. Only the question marks are visible. Thank you, Miss Anaya Jha. Thank you, Sahil. Good. Okay. So let's come back to the topic now. Let's start the topic. I hope, children, you all are clear about the conditions and warranties. And we also did few of the MCQs where we can return the goods, where we can only claim the damages. So let's have a quick test of yours before starting the chapter. Mr. Sahil Pahwa, thank you so much. Congratulations to you as well, Bacha. Okay, now my first question goes to all of you. What is the stipulation, whether it's a condition or warranty, wherein you can return the goods as well as claim the damages? What is the name of that stipulation wherein you can return the goods as well as can claim damages? What do you call that kind of stipulation? So this is number one. So what do you call that? So I'm waiting for the answers where you can return the goods and excellent. Harnoor Kaur, you're wrong. Anaya Jha, Nandini, Rohan, Sakshi, Gunchita, all of you are correct, children. Very nice. Himanshu Gupta is wrong. In the conditions we can exchange. Arshdeep, you are correct. Gunchita, Rohini, all of you are correct, children. When we can return the goods and also claim the damages, it is known as condition. And where you can only claim the damages, what is that known as? You can write these as notes also, children. Where you can only claim the damages, what do you call that? It is known as warranty. So this is the major difference between condition and warranty. This is what we discussed in the last lecture in detail. So I have taken your test also. All of you are correct except 2 or 3 students. It is definitely condition. Sakshi also says, yes, ma'am, it's condition because it is essential to the main purpose of contract. And exactly right. If that condition is not fulfilled, you can return the goods and you can also claim the damages. And one more thing, you can repudiate the contract. What was the meaning of repudiating the contract? Means putting an end to the contract. All right. Now, we were talking about where we left was express and implied conditions. Children, I was telling you where you're expressly speaking about something by words spoken or written. That is the meaning of express condition. Means when I ask you that the car should be fit for touring purposes, I have wholeheartedly told you the purpose for which my car is required. Why do I need it? What kind of model I need? Then if there is an express condition on you that you should fulfill my conditions. But what is the meaning of implied conditions? Now you sold me that car. At least the car should be working. Do I need to tell you that gaadi chalni chahiye? It should have a gear in that. Or if I've asked for an automatic, that is a separate story. But do I need to tell the seller that there should be a horn which is working in that car? The basic necessities, the basic amenities that come with the car, there is an implied condition that the goods should be corresponding to the similar kind of description of any other kind of product. So it should be a mercantile quality, right? You cannot sell me that, okay, fine, you imposed an express condition that the car should be fit for touring purposes. So I am as a seller, I'm selling you the car which is fit for touring purposes. But the moment you started driving the car, the horn was not working. Don't you think there is some kind of major problem? There is an implied condition, even if I'm not asking for this. This is a common sense that there should be a horn which should be blowing in the car. Or is it right? Otherwise, in the movies, they show that somebody has spoiled the brake or spoiled the horn and they start flying the cars. But this is real life. You cannot be moving like in action movies. You start flying the car. Okay, it's not possible. So in such a case, children, there is an implied condition as to mercantability. That means the product is not in proper working condition. So now, what are these kind of implied conditions? We have 7 kind of implied conditions. It can be maybe related to your title, maybe related to your description, or maybe for your sample, how it works, how it happens. This is what we're going to discuss in the class today. Now, the first condition is condition as to title. So when we talk about title, you should always write down what is the meaning of title. My all students know by now, I told you earlier also, title means ownership. Title means ownership. So when I am, all of you know, let me another test of yours. A, sell the goods to B. Okay, A, sell the goods to B. Now I want all your eyes and ears here, please. No distractions. And be quick in answering me back. A, sell the goods to B. It is a condition of sale. Who becomes the owner immediately? A is the owner now or B is the owner? Or you can tell me, seller is the owner in sale or buyer is the owner in sale? Who is the owner? Mr. T. Rajashekhar, congratulations to you as well. Good. Children, you all have boosted my morale by sending such good results, sharing it with us. Excellent. Very nice. Buyer becomes the owner. Very nice, children. So B is the owner. Our present class is equally intelligent as well. So they are understanding the concept. So buyer becomes the owner. Mr. Ansh Singhal, congratulations to you as well. So condition as to title means, now when you all of you told me that A, the seller is selling the goods to B, the buyer, and now buyer becomes the owner. What if the seller himself is not the owner? I have stolen someone's bicycle and I sold it to you. Let's take a very interesting example. So here is Miss Sakshi with us, and I am Harleen ma'am is the seller, and Harleen ma'am has stolen Kirti's cycle. So Miss Kirti had a very nice bicycle. I stolen it from Miss Kirti and I sold it to Miss Sakshi. So tomorrow when Sakshi was, exercising and driving that cycle, nowadays we all are very health conscious, physical fitness is also important. So she said, I have studied I'm preparing for my CA foundation, and she has kept 1 hour in the evening for cycling. So when Sakshi was driving that cycle, Miss Kriti saw her. What will Miss Kriti do now? Won't she get angry? Oh my God, look at this Miss Sakshi. She has only stolen, that means, my cycle. I am searching for the cycle since so long, and now she is driving my cycle. So what will Kirti do? She will, yes, Miss Sakshi is saying, ma'am, it's fraud now. Yeah, it's definitely fraud, but let's listen to the story first. So you always enjoy stories. So here's a story for you. So now what will happen? Kirti will go to Sakshi and she will say, come here, my dear, this is my bicycle. So in our present example, Harleen ma'am is the seller. Sakshi is the buyer. Is it right? Miss Sakshi is buyer. Harleen is seller. And who is Kirti? Children, Kirti in our example is true owner. She is the real owner of this bicycle. Now this Kirti can drag me to the court, and she can drag Sakshi to the court, and she has full right to recover her bicycle back. And what will this innocent buyer, this my dear Sakshi, who has not done any fault, she has paid the full price, 20,000 rupees I have charged for this bicycle. It was a nice smart bike. 20,000 थोड़े ज़्यादा हो गए वैसे है ना, चलो 10,000 कर लेते. I have charged 10,000 for the smart bike that I have sold her. She will come and she will recover the entire amount from me. Why? Because she will tell me that, ma'am, we are studying sale of goods now, and I have read about condition as to title, where you are not the owner of the goods. Buyer has the right to return the goods to the true owner and recover the money back from the seller. This is not what I am saying. This is what is written in the law. Sakshi will not recover her money from Kirti because Kirti has nothing to do with that. She just wants her bicycle back. She's the true owner. She has full-fledged rights on that bicycle. Now that she has caught you roaming around and she has found her cycle, she will come and take it back. And what will Sakshi do? Sakshi will feel very bad. Had she been a kid or a baby, she might start crying also. So I purchased it and she has taken back from me. But there's no need to cry. You remove away your tears and just read condition as to title. Just go and get hold of that seller and claim your entire money back from him. This is the right that has been given to you by law, that if the seller was not the title, was not the owner, the buyer can go and recover the prize money back from him. But the true owner has full right to claim the goods back from the buyer. All right. So I think condition as to title of Sakshi and Kirti के example से आपको कभी भूलेगा नहीं, याद रहेगा. But still, as implied, we have to read what is written in the books as well. So here it says, there was the example which is given in his study material. It says, A purchased a tractor from B who had no title. So here B was the seller and he was not the title. He was not having title means he was not the owner. So later on, the true owner, the same way he saw the true owner, Mr. C, saw Mr. A driving the tractor in his fields, and he said, come on, this is my tractor, give it back to me. So this angry Mr. A will go back to B and will also file a case against him if required, will claim the damages as well as will claim the prize money back. Clear ho gaya condition as to title? When I take you back in the study material, both these conditions we'll read one by one from study as well. What is the meaning of condition as to description? This is very, very interesting. What is the meaning of description? If I'm describing anything for you, I'm saying this is a very nice, I'm a seller. I'm saying this is a very nice mobile phone. It's 5 inches long. It has a good selfie mode camera. And even the back camera is very good. I give a free cover also with this. All these kind of stipulations when I'm making. So don't you think the goods should correspond to whatever conditions I'm imposing, whatever description the seller is saying? The answer is definitely yes. You are buying the goods. Children, I told you, there's certain stipulations which are not very important, but the stipulations which form the part of the contract, which are very essential, on the basis of which you are signing the contract with the seller, those conditions becomes those stipulations becomes the conditions. Means if you try to breach those conditions, if you'll not fulfill it in reality, buyer has the right to return the goods. So now condition as to description means that the goods must correspond to the description what the seller is telling you. So here A sells to B 12 packs of waste silk. Now there was a buyer who wanted to buy a certain amount of waste silk. It should be such as known in the market. He says in the market it is known as a waste kind of silk. There is a certain product which comes with the name of waste silk, and the buyer wanted 12 packs of the waste silk. Now if the seller tries to mix certain amount of cotton in that, can it be done? Law says no, then the goods are not as per the description. A will say, B will say, I have specifically ordered for the waste silk. Please take your 12 bags back because you have mixed cotton in that. So if any such kind of contracts were asking for a Java sugar or a certain type of a crockery where you really want to have a descriptive product only and the seller gives you another kind of product, there if the goods are not corresponding to the description that has been, like I was just giving you an example. So you buy this mobile phone on the basis of description given by the seller. So he has promised you that the phone will be 5 inches, but when you went home, you opened the box, it was just 4 inches. So all the description, other things were matching, the selfie mode camera was working, other things were very well justified, but you have demanded specifically, he has agreed for a 5 inches phone and now the phone is just 4 inches. Therefore, you have full right to go and return the goods by saying that there has been a breach of implied condition as to description. So if such conditions have been breached, buyer has the right to reject the goods. Let us read the same from the study material as well. Children, why do we try to go and read into the study material? Because too many examples, too many things are written in study material and the picture gets wider and clear when we read each and every line from the study. Because when I generally teach you from the presentation, then you come up with the queries related to your study material. So it's better to take the topics directly from that as well. Yes, definitely you can sue the seller as well and you can claim the money back for those who are asking about that. Lakshita, great. Anjana, great. Everyone says we have clearly understood. That's very nice. Miss Pooja Swami, congratulations. All right. So, children, condition as to title, where it specifically tells about that the implied condition is that the seller has the right to sell the goods only when the property is to pass. So you can obviously, if you're not owner of the goods, you cannot sell the goods. in chapter number 3, we'll be talking about transfer of title. There's a Latin maxim that they use: no one can transfer what he himself does not own. Nemo dat quod non habet. This is the topic which we'll be talking in detail for that. So there you try to understand that only if you are the owner of the product, then only you have full right to transfer the goods to the buyer. If your title is defective, means if you are yourself not the owner, then the buyer can return the goods to the true owner and will recover the prize money from the seller. So this tractor example we have already done. Now there is another thing about the infringement of trademark. If you are trying to misuse anyone's trademark, okay, you have nice Cadbury chocolates you get in the market, and tomorrow is Rakhi, and you really want to give Dairy Milk Cadbury chocolates to your brother or sisters, and I'm the seller who has opened up a new shop and I'm selling Rakhi hampers, and I'm selling you the chocolates. I have made my own chocolates and I have got the similar kind of packet made of Cadbury, and I have written Cadbury outside the chocolate wrappers. Children, do you think I'm doing something wrong? Don't you think I'm trying to infringe with the trademark of Cadbury? I am not the Cadbury seller. So how can I use someone else's brand name, trademark, patents? Law says there is an implied condition. You have no right to use someone else's trademark. So in the same example number 5, it says if A sells to B tins of condensed milk which were labeled as CDF brand. So I am giving an example of Cadbury, or it can be a Nestle Maggie. Somebody who is not the owner and is selling the Maggie with the name of Nestle cannot be done. Somebody who is not the Cadbury guy and is selling the chocolates with the name of Cadbury, it cannot be done. Here the person is selling the condensed milk with the name of CDF brand. And then it was later held that it is infringement of N company's trademark. So this CDF brand is owned by company N. Who is the owner of CDF brand? It says N company was the owner of CDF brand. And this A is selling to B, saying that we have this milk of CDF brand. So it was considered to be the breach of implied condition. Now what will A do? A had no right to sell the goods. Now B is entitled to reject the goods, or you can remove off the labels. This can also be done. You can tell me, Harleen ma'am, see, you are not Cadbury person. Why are you doing a fraud with us? So you remove this word Cadbury and obviously you will relish those chocolates. I'm really going to make good chocolates for all of you. But then I cannot do wrong thing. I cannot use someone else's trademark. So what we can do is we should remove the labels and then you can sell it. That is something which is allowed. Or you have the right to reject the goods, and you can also claim the damages for the reduced value. See, I have to suffer because of you and you are trying to do misuse of trademarks. So the buyer also have the right to claim the damages. If the seller has no title, buyer has to take over the goods to the true owner and can entitle to the refund of the price money. So again, if N company comes to know that B has got these goods, they can ask for the goods recovery, and now B will go and recover the price money from it. Simple thumb rule you have to remember: 3 parties, buyer, seller, and the true owner. Buyer will return the goods to the true owner and will recover the prize money from the seller. This is your breach condition as to title. Now, section 15 specifically talks about description. Now, why description becomes very interesting and important for us to understand? Because children, law does not define what is sale of goods by description. There is no such definition given to that. It says it has to be understood from various examples. It can be, some things can be very important part of description. Some things can just be like we have went to a shop and we have purchased and the buyer is already, the seller is already dealing in the goods. Then it might fall under some another category. So description, the rule is generally based on that you cannot contract to sell peas. If you contract to sell peas, you cannot compel the buyer to take beans. Now, if I am selling you chocolates, can I say, you have paid me for the chocolates, but please take sweets instead of that? You cannot say. There is a deal and contract for description of chocolates, then you must sell me the chocolates. Buyer is not bound and accept to pay for the goods if they're not for the description. Simple example. You told me I want 5 perks. I have taken the payment of 5 perks. 5 rupees ki 5 perk, 25 rupees I took from you and I gave you eclairs, sweets. You are free to reject the goods And you will and also recover the prize money of rupees 25 back because they are not as per the description. You have asked for perk, why I'm giving you a clear choice. Similarly, if you are selling peas, peas means mutter, and beans means beans, potatoes, vegetables you all cook at home now. So if you're selling peas, you cannot say that please buy beans instead of that. Where the buyer has undertaken to purchase the goods by description, then the description is very important for identifying the goods whether the buyer had agreed to purchase. It has to correspond according to description, otherwise the buyer can reject the goods. Simple. So let us read the examples. This again, example number 6 we have done of the waste silk from Murshidabad to Kolkata. The goods were to be transported. There was a condition that the silk should be such a kind of silk which is known as waste silk in the market. So in the market, people say that this is a kind of waste silk, and now if it is not a waste silk, the buyer is free to reject the goods. A ship was contracted to be sold as copper fastened vessel. But now example number 7 is very interesting. Children generally ask queries in this, but it is very, very simple. So if you'll pay attention, you will not have much of queries. Now, vessel means a kind of a ship. So here I'm trying to sell you a ship. A ship was contracted. You see, it is written, a ship was contracted to be sold as copper fastened vessel. So I have made a contract with you that I will be selling you a ship and it will be made up of copper. But it was only partly copper fastened. So partly I've used copper and partly I've used another kind of material. So now I contracted with you that I will be selling you the whole of the vessel, whole of the ship that will be made up of will be a copper kind of material, but I'm trying to use some different kind of material. Instead of copper, I've used brass or maybe another kind of metal. So here the goods are not as per the description. So simply you can return the goods and claim the damages. Now these are the kind of questions which can come as descriptive questions in your exam. Examiner can tell you A contracted to sell with B a ship which was to be copper fastened vessel, but later on it was found that it was partly copper fastened. What will be your action against this case? He will not tell you which chapter I'm talking about. He will not remind you who is the buyer and seller. You have to write that this particular case law relates to the provision of implied condition as to description. First, we write about concerned provision, how we try to link the case law with the case that has been given with the topic which it relates to. Second paragraph will be facts of the case. So you'll write a brief summary what is written in the question, that this person is selling to Mr. B a ship which was to be copper fastened. It has to be made up of copper fastened material, but it is found in the question that it was partly copper fastened. Now we are going to analyze what the buyer needs to do. So in your analysis, in your answer, conclusion, you will write based on the above provisions, buyer has the right to reject the goods and he can also claim the damages for such a kind of breach. Why? Because this is counted as breach of implied condition as to description. Section 15 specifically says if the goods do not correspond to description, buyer can return. सिंपल एंड क्रिस्प आंसर लिखना है, बट सिर्फ एक लाइन में आंसर नहीं लिखकर आ जाना. For my English students, you cannot simply write down the answer in one line and finish. You have to divide your questions related to descriptive questions. The answer has to be beautifully written in small 3 points or maybe short 3 paragraphs. So depending upon if it's 2 marks question, you can finish it in 4 lines. If it is a 6 marks questions, you have to write at least 2 lines in each of these 3 paragraphs. So the concern provision, facts of the case, and conclusion are the 3 thumb rules for presenting any descriptive questions. Don't worry, when we do mock test papers, I will make you do extra descriptive questions. I will make you write it down how you have to attempt the questions as well. This was just to give you an example how you have to frame them. Similarly, description has not been defined, so it can be maybe any particular class or the kind of goods which you're asking. You went to a shopkeeper and you said, I want a particular type of crockery. I only like Borosel glasses, or the cotton which is an Egyptian cotton. I don't want Chinese cotton or any other cotton. I want only Egyptian cotton. Or you say, I don't want brown sugar. I don't want white sugar. I want Java sugar. So where you're talking about any class or kind of the goods, then the goods should be as per that description. or defining them as per their characteristics. Say jute bales of specified shipment, steel of specific dimensions, where you're giving certain measurements, dimensions, identifications by characteristics of the goods. That can also be counted as the description. So description can be a statement or representation made to identify the particular goods regarding their mode of packing, the place of origin. So it is very important to understand whether it is a question of fact only, whether it is important description or it was just a mere statement. So again, description wala jo hai, bahut vague hai. Vague means it's very open kind of thing where you have to, you might have to prove in the court that whether it was the goods as per the description, yes or no. You cannot simply just get up and go back and return the goods in any case. If the goods are corresponding to description, there was just minor error which needs to be rectified, then there will be a different story to that. So it says it depends upon every case to case whether they were corresponding to description or not. Basically, you simply have to see whether they were of the class of kind or not, or the characteristics that you have mentioned are matching on. So we have done various examples in description as well. Section 17 talks about sale by sample. Now, what is the meaning of sample? If you all remember, I told you in the previous class also, what is sample? Now, children, sample is something where I'm selling you the goods and I've kept outside my shop certain small samples related to that quantity. So I have nice bakery shop and I have started baking fondant cakes and nice cream cakes. And again, it's your Rakhi and everyone is in a festive mood. So let's talk about sweets and cakes today. So maybe you go to some sweets shop, okay? You go to some sweets shop and you ask that the shopkeeper that we are going to place an order of bulk for 5 kgs of mithais for our families. So can we just taste that sweet before placing an order? So the shopkeeper will show you the best kind of piece that he has, and you just tasted it and it was mouth-watering, and you said that yes, this is this. Queries also, somebody is still stuck between condition as to title. So please remind me later on, we'll take that topic once again. Demo product is sample, Anaya Jha, that's absolutely correct. I hope children now you can see me clearly. Yes, that's correct, Himanshu Gupta. So where were we? We were just testing the sample of that Swedish. Yes. Okay, so let's go back to the same example. So what will you do now? You will place the order for those sweets. We're in the study material thing. Here we go. So I was telling you, I hope you heard that example, children, where we were tasting the sweets and we decided to place the order of 5 kgs in bulk. So now since you have tasted the sweets, so you will say that this 5 kg of bulk should be according to that nice, yummy, tasty of quality of sample that you have tested. And the buyer should be given reasonable opportunity of comparing the bulk with the sample. I hope you all are there with me and on the same page. Okay, thank you for confirming. Yes, you have seen and heard it. Miss Arshti, thank you. Anaya Jha, wait for that Maggie example. Let me just complete this first. So buyers should have a reasonable opportunity. Now I sold you that Swedish. You were tasting it. Let's take example of Arshdeep only. Arshdeep tasted that Swedish and I'm the seller. And I said, ma'am, okay, fine. Now this Swedish is fine for you. I'm packing 5 kg of the sweets for you because you like the sweet and this is the as per the sample. Does Arshdeep has the right to check whether it is as per the sample or not? Can she compare? Definitely, she should be given the opportunity to compare. If I say, no, I'm not letting you check the box and you just go home and open it. Now you have already tasted the sample. I will not show you the box. So you went home and you opened the box and there were big gulab jamuns instead of barfi. Come back to my shop and say that the goods do not correspond to the sample and you feel free to reject that. Okay. What does it mean? You should be given an opportunity to compare the bulk with the sample. But what if I gave the opportunity to Arshdeep to compare and she saw the box and they were already gulab jamuns instead of barfi in that and she still accepted it? Now you cannot come back and return the goods. Why? Because section 17 says that I should allow you to test the sample. I have given an opportunity of comparing the bulk with the sample. If buyer finds it is fine, then it's so. Then it is as per your own sweet will that you have purchased the thing. I have not forced you. But if I don't let you open the box, I don't let you check the things, and tomorrow the things do not correspond to the sample, feel free to reject the goods and claim the money back. Now, in case of sample by 2 parcels of wheat, the seller allowed the buyer an inspection of the smaller parcel, but not of the larger parcel. So here is another seller who was selling by sample 2 parcels of wheat. So एक छोटा parcel था, smaller parcel, and one was bigger parcel. So buyer was allowed to inspect the smaller parcel. He could check. He have seen that wheat is absolutely fine, but the larger parcel was not allowed. Now later on, the buyer can straight away refuse to take the parcels of wheat. It is not even that you have to check whether it was fine or not, where the seller tries to refuse you, the second point. So here, on the basis of section 17, clause B, the rejection will occur because you have not allowed me. Similarly, in that shop where you have tested this wheat, if the seller does not allow you to inspect the goods, then also you can refuse to accept. So you have to be given an opportunity to compare the with the sample, because you are buying the huge bulk just by testing the sample. So you cannot take such a big risk, no? So here you were allowed to check the smaller parcel and larger parcel was not allowed. Therefore, the buyer was entitled to refuse to take the goods. Now, third point. The goods should be free from any defects that make them unmerchantable. What is the meaning of unmerchantable? Means which is not in good quality, something which makes them bad in quality, something which make them taste not to taste good. Now it says that goods should be free from any defect. Non-merchantable means something which is not of good quality, which is not of unmerchantable. May you can write down, not of good quality. Say example, I have shown you the almonds for tasting and they were very tasty and they were very sweet. But the one that I've sold you, they were very bitter and sour. Don't you think they were unmerchantable? They were full of ants in the almonds. Will you eat those almonds? You'll get very angry and you'll go back and tell the shopkeeper, see, I've paid you a huge amount and they are not as per the description. They're not as per the sample. They are unmerchantable. Sorry. Merchantable means something which is edible, something in proper working condition. But if the goods shall be free from such defects, means they should not be having any such defects which make them unmerchantable. So it says which would not be available on reasonable examination of the sample. This is applicable to defects which could not be discovered by ordinary examination if the defects are latent. Now, this is very interesting word, latent. Children, latent defect means hidden defects. Write down, latent defects means hidden defects. Buyer can avoid the contract. You can simply remember this last line. This simply means the goods should be free from any latent defects. That means hidden defects. If there are any hidden defects in the goods, buyer can reject the goods. For example, I sold you a nice almirah. You came to my shop. I'm a furniture maker, and you said that we want nice almirah or a nice study table for our house. So now I made that study table for you, and one of the legs of the study table was broken. So I have just tried to repair and tried to hide the defect, and I sold it to you. Now law says which could not be discovered by ordinary examination means you tried to visualize the table from all the 4 sides and it was bilkul theek tha. There were no defects. You could just try tapping it also and everything was fine. But the moment you went home and you sat with the chair on near your table and the leg just came out. So there was a hidden defect. There was a latent defect. I have pasted and covered this as a seller. I have pasted that defect so nicely that you could not make it out. So now the buyer will say that reasonable opportunity of comparing was given to me. I was allowed to examine, but on the examination, it was such a hidden thing that I could not find it out. Here, the buyer can go and return the table back to the seller. It says A company sold certain shoes made up of special sole by sample for the French army. So there was a French army and they had to buy a special kind of sole shoes, and sample of sole was shown to them, and certain shoes of the same sample were made and were sold to the French army. Now the shoes were found to contain paper. So instead of using that special sole, they have put on paper in that shoe sole. So which was not found by ordinary inspection. Here the buyer was entitled for the refund of the price also, plus all the damages. Whatever damages that they have suffered, how they measured the damages, that is a separate story. But are they entitled to recover back the damages? Yes, definitely. So it says, where the goods have been sold, a special sole need to be placed. We have replaced the sole with the paper. Instead of putting that soft sole, he has overloaded a lot of paper in that. And by ordinary, obviously, bacha, if you go to a shop, you will not say that please remove the entire sole and show me what you have put inside. ऐसा तो नहीं ना करेंगे हम, जूता पूरा उखेड़ कर खोल कर देखेंगे भी इसमें आपने सोल सॉफ्ट डाली है या पेपर डाली. So they said by ordinary inspection, the shoes were exactly the same as shown in the sample. But later on they found, they might have found that they're very uncomfortable. The shoe is kind of breaking in between just after a day only. And when they opened it, they found that there were a lot of paper instead of that sole. So here there were latent defects, hidden defects, छुपा कर करा हुआ था, fraud. Okay, so here the buyer can go and return the goods, refund of price is to be given, and also the damage claim. Another one is sale by sample as well as description. Where the goods are sold by sample and description both. Now I am giving you both. First, I just told you description of the goods. These are the goods and they should correspond as per description. Then the goods were sold specifically by sample. You tasted the mithais, you tasted the almonds, and the goods should be according to those kind of Swedish and samples that have been shown. Here I am showing you the sample also, and you're asking for a particular description also. Okay. So here the goods must correspond with the sample and description both. Otherwise, the buyer can reject the goods. So here three things happens. Number one, if the goods are as per the description, but not as per the sample, then you can reject the goods. If you say, ma'am, okay, fine, the goods were exactly as per the sample. I tasted the sample and it was exactly the same kind of material that I'm looking for, but the description is not same. If it's not same, we just do the examples and you will understand. Then also you can reject the goods. So only if the goods are as per the sample which has been shown to you and description, both the things were same, then only the buyer will accept the goods. So before we do the example, just write down these 3 points under sale by sample as well as description. If the goods are as per description, tick means yes, they're as per description, but not as per sample, reject the goods. If sample is correct, description is not correct, reject the goods. If both the things are correct, then only you will accept the goods. Okay. A agreed to sell B certain amount of oil which was to be refined sunflower oil or warranted equal to sample. Now this is very, very, very interesting. Let us show you the picture from the presentation. So description mein aapne waste silk wala example you can remember, condition as to title, you remember this tractor, sale by sample, remember the wheat that I've shown you, or you have done the Rakhi example of Swedish, that is also fine to remember. This is very interesting. He says that this is one is sunflower oil that you used in food and other materials for cooking. Another is hemp oil. There is a kind of hemp oil, children, which is specifically used for your skin kind of material. Now I went to the shopkeeper and I specifically told him I only want sunflower oil. So this shopkeeper is selling the goods by sample as well as by description. By description means I have told you that I want these kind of goods. So he said, ma'am, this is the sample that we have over here and you can check the sample and we'll supply the same. Now, when I went home, I found that the goods were exactly like the sample. Why? Because the sample that the shopkeeper has shown me was a mixture of sunflower oil plus the hemp oil. Means there was some problem in the sample itself only. So the sample that the shopkeeper has shown me was of sunflower oil plus the hemp oil, and the same oil he has sold it to me also. So the goods were as per the sample, but were they as per the description? The answer is not at all. I have only asked for sunflower oil and you're giving me mixed oil. So then the goods were not as per the description. So the buyer had the right to reject the goods. Another example can be you went to the shop and you said, I only want oats flour. आजकल आप health conscious है, oats खाते हैं, oats का आटा भी आता है. So you said, I only want oats flour. He showed you the sample, but the sample that he shown you was oats flour only. He has shown you the sample of oats flour, and in the description that he gave you when you received the goods, it was oats plus the normal wheat flour also mixed. So again, you will say that the goods were as per the sample, but description has not been satisfied. The things that you have given me is also a mixture of wheat as well. So all these kind of examples where I'm giving you, showing you the sample and the goods are not as per description, or they are as per the description. You are giving me the oats goods only, but the sample that you have shown me was a mixture of oats and wheat. Let's take another example where I tell you that please give me an oats, please give me oats flour. So you had a sample which is having a mixture of oats plus wheat. So I saw that this sample is very nice, but the description, but when you supplied the goods, they were only oats goods. So the goods were as per the description, but now the sample is not being matched because I really like that sample that you have shown me, but that sample was already having a mixture. So now again, you have right to reject the goods because the goods should be as per both. You should show me a correct sample. They should be as per the sample. And now if I've liked the sample of oats and wheat both, but you have given me only oats, then yes, as they are as per the description. But since they are not as per the sample, I have the right to reject the goods. Clear ho gaya? So both the things have to be clear, children. The goods should be as per the description also. If they're just as per the sample, then sample has to be tested, or both the things needs to be satisfied. In that very case, you have to see both the things are being satisfied. Now, before moving further, let me just have a round of what queries you all are sending. Now, Anaya Jha, your question of Maggie, she says instead of Maggie normal spelling, you're using another kind of spelling. So if you're not using the same brand name, if you're having a different, if you're not doing any infringement of trademark, and also your relationship with another company are absolutely fine, you might have to take certain permissions, then it's absolutely fine. Then you can have that kind of thing as well. Somebody is saying that we still can see you. I hope you all can see my video, children. I don't know. Priyanshu is saying the session was cancelled. I'll be back. Yes, I have all of you back over here. Your queries are coming back to me. So if you provide a bad quality of horn or brake and it causes accident, then the bad quality of horn and brake is something that we're going to cover in condition as to merchantability. There you'll understand it. Grade A rice and B rice means that if I'm trying to sell you, but yes, that can also be taken, Arshdeep, as an example where I'm trying to give you a mixture of rice. Thank you, Harpreet and Masoom, for clearing that. It's clearly visible now. Yes, Lakshita, cases can also come, direct questions can also come. In today's class, I'll show you how the direct questions also come in the exam. Saima Khatun is asking about sale by description and condition as to title. Children, this is the two different implied conditions. In condition as to title, you simply have to see that the seller should be the owner. Seller is not the owner. Return the goods to the true owner and recover the paisa back from the seller. In case of goods as to description, if you have asked for a specific mobile phone, it should be 6 inches long. When you went home, you saw that it was only 4 inches long. Description is not All right, students, once again, welcome you all back. I hope now you can clearly see me and everything is fine. The net is playing games with us today. So apologies for the same. I hope now you can clearly hear. Only cases will be asked. So Lakshita, I was just clearing your doubt that there can be the cases as well as the descriptive cases and straight questions as well. So somebody is using the trademark. I was answering you back that infringement or any misuse is done. Then you have the right to return the goods to the true owner, or you can remove the labels and send. If the goods are correct as per description, but they were not the match. So Miss Netra, the question that you have asked is, if the goods are as per the description, but sample is not matching, then also you have the right as per section 17 to reject the goods. Latent defects are not known to the buyer, then how can he claim? If after 1 month, then can he return the goods? Ekta Tiwari. See, latent defects means the defects which are hidden. Say, for example, I'm selling you this mobile phone, and say, for example, it's broken from the side. And I, being a seller, I have nicely pasted it, and you cannot just figure it out by examining that there is something which is broken. So when you went home, you used it and you came to know that this thing was already broken. See, child, you have to understand, children, that you cannot straight away get up and go and return whatever you want to go. आज ये नहीं कर सकते आपकी हमें मैम ने सेल ऑफ गुड्स चैप्टर पढ़ा दिया and we are assuming there are so many implied conditions and we just go and return the goods to the shopkeeper saying they are not as per the description. We're going to do a very important rule today, that is rule of caveat emptor, which means the buyer should be aware before purchasing the goods. Okay, there is somebody is telling me that there is some still connection problem that is coming. I hope now it's absolutely clear, sir, from technical support, if you can just confirm me. All right. So children, yes, where were we? So if the goods are as per the description that you have given me, so I told you that this mobile phone is broken and you have purchased it, but you cannot find this defects on examination. So now you can go and reject the goods because latent defects are covered under section 17, subclause C, wherein it says the buyer could not find out the defects on reasonable examination, and now the defects have come to the knowledge, then you can go and reject the goods. But what I was trying to explain you is that you have to prove in the court of law that yes, there was certain kind of defects already. It's not that you purchase this phone and you throw it at home and you have broken it and now you go and say that sir, it does not correspond to description. ऐसा नहीं होगा. ऐसा तो फिर हम सारी चीजें वापस कराएंगे. We'll go and start giving the things back and claiming the refund money. So law is not that easy, okay? You cannot just randomly apply law anywhere. You have to be very careful when you're applying law. So only if the goods, there is a real error, something which really needs to be justified, then only you can reject the goods. All right. If buyer buys both oats and wheat flour, then he can return. Yes, Mr. Rohan Kumar, if you have accepted the goods, you're fine with that, then it's okay. If they're non-severable, you say that I just want to accept half, then it is non-severable. You cannot separate oats from the wheat. Now, you either have to accept whole or reject whole. Yes, Miss Priya Pandit, I can see your messages. Kunal Jain, you're selling by description, that covered under goods by description. Medicines are not description. Mr. Saurabh Verma, we'll talk about medicines when we talk about the topics that on the rule of caveat emptor. Good, Mr. Harshit Jaiswal, congratulations. Nice, good marks you've got in business law. Good. Okay. All right, Anayaja, thank you for all the cooperation. If the defect, Mr. Survey says if the defect is unable to be seen in sample, that means that those are the only latent defects which are known as hidden defects. Okay, then you can reject the goods if you find it out later. Okay, Gunjan Devi, we will take up this MCQ when we go back to the MCQs once again. All right, children. Yes, point number 5 and 6, Miss Neha Agarwal, we'll do start from the condition as to quality and fitness. Quality and fitness is very, very important and little lengthy. We'll cover it from the study material. First, let us understand condition as to merchantability. A bought a black velvet cloth and found it to be damaged by white ants. Now, what happened, child? You went to the shop and you said that I really want a nice velvet cloth. So the shopkeeper showed you nice white kind of black velvet cloth and you purchased it. When you came home, because it was such a dark in color, it was a black velvet cloth, you just found when you saw it at home that there were white ants caught in that cloth. कि very कीड़ा लग जाता है ना कपड़ों को, फटा हुआ है कपड़ा खराब था, and there were small white ants in the cloth. Do you think the goods are merchantable? Do you think the person has the right to do business and sell such a kind of merchantability goods? The law says this is really wrong. You will not call it a kind of fraud. You will simply say that there is a breach of implied condition as to merchantability. Merchantability means the goods should be in good condition. They should be in a proper working condition. Like someone like Rahul and Rohan, I think somebody was asking about horn of car. If the horn is not working, so will you say that I went to purchase a horn for my car or maybe a nice music system for my car, and I spent so much money and he has placed the music system in my car and now it's not getting played. It's not working only. So that means there is a breach of implied condition as to merchantability. So children, simply write down merchantability means that the goods should be in proper working condition. They should be as per the good quality. The quality of the goods should be correct. Okay. Yes, Miss Netra, then you can return the goods as per the sample. If the seller is given reasonable opportunity, but buyer himself did not check the goods, then after, so I told you, Himanshu Pathak, this is something which is covered as rule of caveat emptor. That is the buyer's responsibility to examine before purchasing the goods. Okay. Non-severability, Miss Maheen, means something which cannot be separated. If I have sent you the goods which have, for example, grade A and grade B rice and they got mixed up, now I cannot segregate them. So either accept whole of the lot or reject the goods. If you're not satisfied, you felt that I just wanted to purchase basmati and he has mixed it inferior quality rice, that means there has been a breach of implied condition as to description. Therefore, the buyer can reject the whole lot of the goods. समझ आ गया बच्चों, condition as to merchantability means the goods should be merchantable, should be of good working condition. And this example you can remember over here, that if the goods were damaged by white ants, you can reject the goods. Quality and fitness, हम डिटेल में बात करेंगे स्टडी मटेरियल से. Let's complete this condition as to wholesomeness. Now, children, for merchantability is used for other products other than eatables. Same word is used wholesomeness for the eatable things. You can see whole breakfast I have laid down over here for you, for the eggs, cheese, butter, bread, all these consumable items. It says condition has to wholesomeness applies. If I'm supplying you milk which is already contaminated, so here there was a case now where A supplied F with the milk which was contaminated, means it was having typhoid germs in it, and the person consumed it and severe health issues were served, or even if the person died, such a case is a very extreme case. So here it says there is a breach of implied condition as to wholesomeness. Wholesomeness again means it should be clean, it should be fresh, it should be a good quality. So you cannot supply something, you cannot say that I have opened up a shop as a seller and I'm selling milk in my shop and that milk is 6 months old. Milk can maximum be a 1 day or 2 day or 5 days or 15 days old, where you have written the date also that it should be consumed by this much date. So if I'm selling you the bread kind of stuff and it was made on 5th of June and I'm selling it to you today, don't you think as a buyer, it's my responsibility to check the date of packing as well? How many of you check the dates before buying, children? That is what the rule of caveat emptor tells you, that it is your responsibility as well as a buyer, that before buying the goods, just check those goods. Like now somebody was asking about medicines. Whenever you purchase medicines, you should always check the expiry date. It is your responsibility. सब कुछ थोड़ी ना seller करके बताएगा. Regarding merchantability also, if I am showing you the cloth, buyer should have at least examined it. But again, that was the topic of latent defects. If the defects are hidden, something which is not clearly visible, then you can apply such implied conditions and feel free to return the goods and take your money back. Similarly, for condition as to wholesomeness, it is very important to see if the wholesomeness is not fulfilled, if it's not fresh, if it is not edible, कुछ खाने लायक नहीं है, चीज खराब है, तो आप वापस कर सकते हैं, and you can complain for that, and you can also get your money back. So these are the 7 implied conditions. Now let's come back to the most important condition. In fact, I would say condition as to quality and fitness. Now, law says there is no such quality and fitness that I need to assure you. You know, you as a buyer, I just told you that Kevin Emptor said that the buyer should be also aware. If I'm selling you digestive biscuits, then tomorrow, though, now this is under a brand name. Okay, so tomorrow, if digestive biscuit from behind, they have changed their taste. So you cannot come back to me and you can sell that this departmental store, I want to give this back because they're not tasting as per those kind of things. So there's certain, brands which we are selling in the market. You cannot just hold the seller responsible without any reason. Or you cannot simply say that I do not like the taste and now because they're not as per the quality, I want to return it. So condition as to quality and fitness has to be applied very, very carefully. Say for in this example, it says A bought a set of false teeth, but the set was not of these horror kind of picture that has been shown over here. It shows you this wild teeth. So somebody got his teeth made. We did this kind of example earlier also, where a denture was made for a person and his teeth have come out and now he has got this set of false teeth made for himself. Now children, when you get these kind of set of false teeth made, generally the dentist will take the measurements and he will take all the skills, he will apply his own talent and skills and he will prepare this false set of teeth for you. ऐसा ही होता है ना, आप तो नहीं बोलोगे कि मुझे इतना ही चाहिए, ये तो डेंटिस्ट का काम है ना. You are all future chartered accountants. You will be more concerned about the audit of the dentist files, but you cannot tell him his work. We are not doctors, we are not dentists. So this is the kind of work which only you have to rely on the skill and talent of the dentist. So here this buyer, number one, he went to the dentist and asked for the false set of teeth. Number two, dentist is a person who deal in such kind of goods. Number three, you are relying on the skill and talent of the seller. Now what happened when this teeth set came, it could not fit in A's mouth. So number one, it is a contract of sale. Remember, contract of work and labor also we discussed in this topic. We have concluded that such a kind of contract is not just of work and labor. It is also counted as contract of sale. Secondly, it will be breach of implied condition as to quality and fitness. It is not as per the quality. You have given me a false set of teeth, which is wrong. This is not as per my mouth. So here I have relied on your skill and judgment. Therefore, A is not bound to accept it. A can return it and can also claim his money back. Let's see few more examples. Your study material is full of examples, children. So let us cover those examples as well from the study material. Yes, anyone was asking MCQs from this chapter or the previous study material? If you're asking from the previous study material, then we'll have to see it from that. Okay. Children, it's visible. The study material is visible. First, I think the query that has come is from the previous chapter. So that we'll take later on. First, we'll complete the syllabus for today. Condition as to quality and fitness. Number one, section 16, subsection 1 says ordinarily. Ordinarily means generally, there is no implied condition. So उसने बात ही खत्म कर दी. उसने बोला पहली बात तो ये है कि quality and fitness की कोई भी implied condition नहीं होती. It says that there is no such condition that the goods should also correspond to the quality and fitness. It is buyer's responsibility to check before buying the goods. But it says, provided the three conditions are fulfilled, where the buyer tells the seller what type of good I want. Here, buyer is relying on the skill and judgment of the seller. So buyer has told that I want false set of teeth. He's relying on the skill and judgment of the dentist. The goods should be of the description in which the seller is dealing. The seller is already a dentist. He is dealing in such kind of products. Therefore, condition as to quality and fitness becomes applicable. So this is how you apply law. It says generally there is no such rule of implied condition of quality and fitness. But in this example number 11, since we are satisfying all these ABC conditions, therefore, the person had the right to return the goods and he can also claim the money back. Let's take another example. So I was giving you an example of the brand names. It says A went to B's shop and asked for Merit swing machine. So children, what is Merit swing machine? एक तरह की sewing machine. Swing machines means सिलाई कढ़ाई करने वाली जो sewing करने वाली machine होती है. A just said that I want the brand name of Merit. Merit नाम की जो swing machine आती है, मुझे वो चाहिए. B gave A the same and paid the price. Here, A is relying on the trade name of the machine rather than on the skill and judgment. Therefore, there is no implied condition of to quality and fitness for buyer's particular purpose. So, buyer had certain purpose. That's why he has asked for specific Merit swing machine. So, the seller has given him the kind of Merit machine which is lying in his shop. He sold it. So, law says where you're not. Are you relying on his skill and judgment? No. There, in case of dentist, you were relying on his skill and judgment. No? You cannot pick up any kind of teeth for yourself. You have asked the dentist to make it for you. Or let's take another example. You went to the tailor to get your pants stitched. So here you're relying on the skill and judgment of the pants for on the seller. So if you have a size medium, say your waist is 28 and he takes your measurements and he stitches the pants of large size, say 34, then you have the right to reject the goods because you have told the seller that you want a 28 waist size. You are relying on his skill and judgment, and the seller should be the tailor who is stitching the pants. Then there is a breach of implied condition as to quality and fitness, and you have the right to reject the goods. Okay, now let's make it clear to you. Bibu Pandey, now you can understand. Good. Bhuvneshwari has written, I have understood easily. Very good. Vagdevi, if I bought a mask and found that there was a hole, and when I went to return, he can replace it, but the replaced one also had the same defect. Vagdevi, then you need to change the shop. Please buy it from somewhere else. If we purchase the goods from the shop and it says no return and we came back and we found. So Miss Netra, this is the case which will be falling under rule of caveat emptor where it is written no return. Please examine before buying the goods. Yes, Anushka Agarwal, even if he did not get any sickness and even if the breach of implied condition as to wholesomeness has happened, then also you can sue the seller and you can ask for your money back. Miss Maheen, you just have to check by an ordinary examination that the milk product packet, whichever you're buying, should be clean and it should be fresh. Miss Varda Fatima, that will cover in the examples of caveat emptor, then you will be able to check it clearly. Kunal Jain, good, we should check the expiry date and packing date. If the buyer sells the goods which is expired, so again, I just told you it is a caveat emptor rule which has to be applied. Miss Singh Rajiv Kumar, merchantability means that the goods should be of proper working condition. Mr. Nabeen, it is your choice. You can either get the goods repaired or you can return. Good, Mr. MD. It's crystal clear. Nice. Kunal Jain is saying, explain the 3 points again. Bacha, what did you not understand in that? It is very simple. Now you will again understand. So let's take your example only. So Mr. Kunal Jain went to get his pants stitched. So here he told the seller that I want the pants of size 28. Clear? And he's a tailor to whom he has given the pants. So you are relying on the skill and judgment of the tailor. But it says the goods should be of the description in which the seller is dealing, whether he's a manufacturer or not. But children, the Kunal went to the shopkeeper who actually stitched ladies' suits. Can you apply this breach of implied condition of quality and fitness if he stitched a pant of size 30 or 32 Listen carefully again. So Kunal Jain went to the tailor. He relied on his skill and judgment, gave his measurement and told him that I want a waist size 28 pants stitched. But that seller was the dealer in ladies suits. He has never stitched men's pants. Now he got the pants stitched and he stitched it for size 30 or large or whatever size, but he's not comfortable with that size. Can Kunal say that there is breach of implied condition as to quality and fitness? Yes or no? Thank you, Ishita. Yes, Gaurav, you can return. Tell me, children, yes or no. Arshdeep says no. Lalit Padi says it's absolutely clear. Good. Nice. So I'm still waiting for the answers. Only one child is answering no. What about others? Manvi Khanna, yes. What is the answer? Correct. All those who have written no, he cannot return the goods. Why? Because point number C is not satisfied. You are not dealing with the seller who is dealing with a similar kind of goods. So all the three conditions needs to be satisfied in order to apply implied condition as to quality and fitness. Clear him? Bibu Pandey is the only one who says yes, ma'am. Then Bibu, then you have to prove in the court that whether C point was valid or not. Okay, Miss Azka, that's correct. Kunal Jain has written no, ma'am. So I think Kunal has now understood. Very good, Miss Masoom, because he doesn't deal with those type of things. So we should have applied our mind before visiting this kind of person. Gunjan is correct. Rajiv Kumar is correct. Yes, Miss Sakshi, that is also correct. That is what we are trying to teach you over here now. Miss Shrindi, wrong, because we should be aware before approaching the seller. So the last line, children, you have to learn this small paragraph over here, which is summary of whatever we have discussed. It says general rule is it is the duty of the buyer to examine the goods before buying so that the goods are suitable. This is known as the rule of caveat emptor, means the buyer should be aware. So in our very example, buyer should, the Kunal should have done the research whether the seller is actually dealing in making pants or he is a lady suit caster. So if you are sure, if you have done the examiner, then you should better go to somebody else rather than applying the breach of implied condition later. समझ आ गया? Let the buyer be aware वाला rule भी हमने briefly समझ लिया है. So condition as to children, quality and fitness, simply you have to understand two things. Generally, it is the buyer's duty to be assured before buying the goods. If these three clauses A, B, C are satisfied, where you're relying on the seller's skill and judgment, then you can apply the quality and fitness implied condition breach. Let's take another example, very interesting one. Yes, Miss Varda, then also you have the right to return the goods. Okay, welcome, Kunal. Ziba, thank you. Good. Ms. Asta Sheikh, this is what we done in example number 12, that even if the machine is not working for your specific purpose, you cannot hold the seller liable in that case. Why, child? Because here you are relied on the trade name of the machine. So you have to find out why the problem was occurring or relying on the basis of the trade name. You cannot just hold the seller particularly responsible for this point. Why? Because in cases of trade name, say for example, you purchased Coke from a departmental store. Now that Coke only had some bitter or a sour taste. So is it the problematic side from the Coke company or it is the departmental store? Then you'll have to find out the trade name person. Now here in this case, you will go to the merit person who is the whole owner of this who is dealing in this kind of machines, who is the owner maker. But कौन जाता है इतनी चीज के लिए? आप पता करने थोड़ी ना जाओगे. या फिर अगर आपको कोक बेकार था टेस्ट में 40 रुपीस का आपने कोक कैन लिया, and will you try to search out? You obviously throw it now. So in such cases, you cannot have a debate with the seller where you're relying on the particular trade. Okay, Harnoor Kaur is again writing, ma'am, suppose you buy a toy and there was a picture of the toy and on the corner there was written picture. Just for reference, original product might vary. And you go home and you see it is totally different. Now, Miss Harnoor Kaur, very interesting question. Now, there are two things. Number one is that you purchase the toy and the shopkeeper has shown you, say for example, this was a monkey that if you, you'll press the button and the monkey will jump. And it was written the same thing that the product might vary. So when you opened the box, instead of monkey, there was a kangaroo in that, but still it was working. Mercantable. Those who were asking me mercantability wala, unke liye bhi example hai. So, but when you press the button in the same way, the kangaroo was jumping. So the product was little different, but it was definitely mercantable. It was working in the proper condition. But what if the monkey was same and you press the button and it was not jumping? Will you now say that breach of implied condition has happened? The answer is definitely yes. Now the breach of implied condition as to mercantability has occurred because the good is not working. Whether you say as per quality of fitness or mercantability is the correct one to fall it over here. Okay, Tanishka, you're also asking mercantability, I hope is now clear. Wholesomeness is generally followed for the eatable items, where you ordered a pizza and the pizza was all rotten and it was all full of germs. Feel free to return it. No need to eat it to spoil your stomach. Good. Good, Miss Aska, Anjana, Anushka, Vagdevi, Arshdeep, Lalit. Nice children. So good children, you all have understood. And Shrindi, which third and fourth point are you asking, Bacha? Please be clear in your queries, children. Third and fourth point means, are you asking about again description and sample? I did not get it. Yes, Miss Varda Fatima, that's absolutely correct. Clause C, can you please provide partner? P. Vishnu is still confused with clause C. Clause C simply says that the seller should be dealing in the similar kind of goods, which you have given him to give. Yes, Himanshu Pathak, please feel free to return the goods if they are not as per the description. But in that particular query, she has already written that it is written on the box that the product might vary. So there are certain kind of disclaimers which are already given by the seller. So it's not very easy, children, to just get up from your chair and go and return the products. There are certain kind of terms and conditions which need to be applied. Examples we try to take on day-to-day basis so that the concept becomes clear. Tomorrow, when you all become chartered accountants and you're applying law in real life, you have to read whole of the clause very carefully. You cannot simply just get up and go and return the goods. Okay. No, Kunal Jain, condition as to description is different. The goods should be as per the description that you have asked. Mercantability means they should be in the proper working condition. Okay, there is another new person, Miss Sehaj Preet Kaur. If the seller only makes the product adulterated, definitely condition, breach of condition as to mercantability, wholesomeness, quality, fitness, everything will become applicable. Yes, Arshdeep, mercantability is applicable in all other products apart from eatables. Miss Sonali Gawade, all concepts clear, ma'am. Thank you so much. I'm glad to know this. All right, children. So I hope you all are clear now. Again, mercantability also have two conditions. Goods should be brought by description and the seller should be dealing in such goods. Again, if you went to buy a medicine from a departmental store, so medicine has to be bought from a chemist shop. So don't blame the departmental store that you did not give me a correct medicine, because his job is to sell you grocery materials. Okay. So you have to be very sure where you are buying the products. All right. So the goods should be as per. Now I will go back to the queries later on, children. Stop writing. We still are left with implied warranties also. So please come back here. The goods are brought by description, and whether he's a manufacturer or producer is very important, children. It is not necessary that the person should be the manufacturer of the goods which he's selling. Even if he's not a manufacturer, still the two conditions are important, that the goods should be brought by description and the seller should be the person who is dealing in such goods. If the buyer has examined the goods, then there is no breach of implied condition. That's what I'm telling you again and again. Now let's listen to the example very carefully. Mercantability ka hi de rahi hu, dhyan se suno. You went to a shopkeeper and you said that I want a set of 6 Borosil glasses. What did you say? You said I want a set of 6 Borosil glasses. Okay. So you said, I want a set of 6 Borosil glasses. He showed you a set of 6 Borosil glasses. You have given him the description. Absolutely correct. You have went to a crockery shop, the dealer who is dealing in such goods. Yes, ma'am, we went to the crockery shop. When we are buying the crockery, we should always go to the crockery shop. And we have given in the description. Absolutely correct. Dono conditions satisfy ho gaye. Who is the buyer in my case? Miss Netra is the buyer over here. Okay, let's take your name, Miss Netra. You have went to purchase the goods. So Miss Netra saw that all the 6 classes are absolutely fine. And she saw that there was the 6th class which had cracks over here. 5 classes were absolutely fine. The 6th class was having a little bit cracks over here. But she liked the design so much that she accepted the goods. She said, it's okay. We'll manage. Okay. Now she went back home and there were guests coming to her home and she served nice cold drink in 6 glasses. And when she poured the cold drinks, the one with the cracks just got broken. This angry Miss Netra, can she go and return the goods back to the seller? You have to answer me yes or no with reasons. You have to answer me yes or no with reasons. Miss Neha Agarwal, sections are not important. Yes, Miss Manvi Khanna, don't worry. Definitely it will get. Children, you have to answer me. I hope you have understood the query. 6 classes I wanted to purchase. I've given the description. It should be Borosil classes. Seller has shown me the same glasses. Excellent. Mr. Rituraj is saying, please explain in Hindi also. तो बच्चा आपको इसका आंसर देना है कि ये 6 glasses नेत्रा ने खरीदे. एक ग्लास में थोड़ा सा क्रैक था. She has examined the goods. Then also she accepted. क्या हम इसमें breach of implied condition apply कर सकते हैं? Absolutely correct. Mr. Rohan, Preeti, Saima, MD, Manshi, Fatima, Fida, Arshti, Maddie Chetty, Manoj, Mr. B, Asha, Kunal, Gungun. Excellent. Those who have written no, ma'am, because she has already examined the goods while buying. Excellent, children. Now you all have to remember this also. When we do it in the class, it becomes so simple because the teacher is listening, you are understanding and applying the same principles. But only when you revise, you become expert in that. Excellent. I'm so happy all of you have answered it correctly. Now Netra will also choose those glasses which have, so she cannot. Yes, Mr. Lalit, absolutely correct. Narayan, Kushi, Ishita, Bihu, Bibu is now correct. Yes, she can't because she has examined. Very good, children. So I have taken your test also for implied condition. Wholesomeness we have already covered. Now quickly move to implied warranties. So section 14 and 16 examination discloses what are the implied warranties. Number 1, we remember what is a warranty, where the something which is collateral to the main part of the contract, there it is a breach of implied warranty if it is not fulfilled and the person has the right to claim the damages. Very nice. Gunjan Devi, that's correct. Maheen, Tejashri, H. Om Prasad, all of you are correct. So first of all, implied warranty as to undisturbed possession. So there are 4 types of warranties and examiner has straight away given you a question directly also once that please explain 4 types of implied warranties, and this is the exact answer that you need to write it down. The first kind of warranty is warranty as to undisturbed possession. Now children, I told you one is the word ownership, another is the word possession. What is the meaning of ownership? I own this mobile. What is the meaning of possession? I have this mobile in my custody. What if I purchase the mobile, but the shopkeeper is only having the mobile? I still have to go and take it. Then you will say that the possession is with the shopkeeper. So both the ownership and possession should be freely given to the buyer. All the eyes and ears here. Again, your test is coming. Now, this undisturbed possession is exactly related to condition as to title. In the morning, we did that if you are not the owner, buyer will return the goods to the true owner and will claim the money back from the seller. This is what we discussed. In the same way, law says if you are not the true owner and buyer is getting the possession from you and later on it gets disturbed, Don't you think that the tractor's possession was disturbed, where you have purchased the tractor and you were just nicely roaming in your fields and now the store owner has come and taken it back? गुस्सा नहीं आएगा यार, हमने तो पैसे देकर खरीदा था, पर चलो पैसे तो वापस ले लिए हमने सेलर से. But don't you think that this was also a breach of implied warranty? My position has been disturbed means I was enjoying that. I did not get the freedom to enjoy that product. In the same example, Sakshi and Kirti. Sakshi was riding the bicycle and having a nice, good, fun time. And now this Kirti has come and has taken the bicycle back. Kirti is also right because she is the true owner. She has the right to take the goods back. Sakshi felt very annoyed. Although she recovered full money from me, I am the seller, and I gave her the money back. Okay, fine, ma'am, please maaf kar dijiye, ye liye apne paise pakdiye, kaam khatam. But Sakshi will say, hello, I also want the damages for my breach of implied warranty. Why? Because I was freely enjoying the goods for which I have paid, and now that position has got disturbed. Somebody has come and taken it back from me. So law says section 14, subsection B specifically so talks about warranty as to undisturbed possession, where any such possession, where any such goods are taken back from you, you are also entitled to claim the damages for that. In this example 16, X buys a laptop from Y. So X is a buyer, Y is a seller. X spends some money on its repair also. तो लैपटॉप खरीदा, उसने बोला भी अब पढ़ाई करनी पड़ेगी, क्लासेस लगानी है, मैम को भी देखना है, मिलना भी है, सीए फाउंडेशन क्लासेस लगानी है. X was a CA student and he spent money and he purchased a new laptop and also spent certain money on the repair and he used it for some time. Unknown to the parties. Now this is very interesting. There was still a case where I've stolen it, but now we don't know. Both the parties were not aware and the laptop was a stolen one. Here the Y seller also is very innocent. He has also got it from someone, but it was a stolen laptop. And rightful owner came and took it back from X. So this Mr. X was sitting at Starbucks and making his notes for law and was enjoying the Starbucks coffee. And the true owner was sitting right in front of him and he said, hello, this laptop is mine. You know, it got stolen last year and I have been searching it since long. Yes, I hope you all can hear me. I hope I'm audible, children. So what happened is, so he can straight away go and return the goods back to the seller. He will return the goods back to the true owner and will claim the money back from Mr. X, and also whatever repair money that he has spent on the laptop, that he can also claim from Mr. Y. Okay, the seller. He can recover the money from seller Y. Anushya Bhatt, yes, your answers are clearly visible and they were correct. Thank you, Miss Anjana. Miss Varda Fatima is writing, what is the difference between two? Please, children, what two you are asking? Which two are you talking about? Thank you, Khushi. Okay, children, thank you for confirming. Miss Shrindi, okay. Yes, Miss Saima, That's absolutely correct. X will claim the damages from Y. Mr. Lalit, he will claim his damages and prize money from Y, and he will return the goods to the true owner. Clear ho gaya bachcho, warranty as to undisturbed possession. Let's quickly move to the second warranty before the connection again tries to disturb us. Don't worry, I will try to extend the class a little bit more if there's a problem. Warranty as to non-existence of encumbrances. Now children, encumbrances means a kind of charges. What is the meaning of charges? We'll quickly do the example and it will become very clear. Now, for example, A has pledged his car with Mr. B. A has pledged his car with Mr. B and has taken a loan of rupees 15,000. So he said, okay, fine. I have already explained you the meaning of pledge, where you're giving your product as a security to another person and you take loan on behalf of that. So here you have pledged your car with Mr. B and has taken a loan of rupees 15,000. Meanwhile, this A acted very smartly. He has, without telling Mr. C about this pledge transaction, he sells his car to Mr. C. Now, do you think that the car is free from any kind of charges? Law says there are certain charges on this car. Certain loan needs to be cleared. Can you purchase anything from the market which is already mortgaged with someone else or which is already pledged with someone else? That means it is not free from encumbrances. There are non-existence of encumbrances means there should not be any encumbrances or charges on any particular product that you are purchasing. Or if I'm not disclosing to you, then also I'm breaching the implied warranty. So what is the remedy available with Mr. C over here is, what he can do is A pledges with car with C. Here he's pledging the car with C and take a loan and then he sells it to Mr. B. B was an innocent buyer. He purchased in good faith without knowing the fact that the gaadi to A ke paas hai hi nahi hai. Gaadi kiske paas hai, children? Gaadi is with Mr. C. He is having the car because the car is pledged with him. He has given a loan of 15,000 to A. Meanwhile, he sold the car to B. Now, what will buyer do? Buyer will ask Mr. Seller, either you clear the loan amount, pay 15,000 back to Mr. C and make my car free from the charges, or he will himself pay 15,000 and will recover the money back from Mr. A. He will file a suit, means usko court mein lekar jayega, case file karega uske against. Aise karna allowed nahi hai. You cannot say for example, tomorrow I pledge my gold with the bank and take a loan of 1 lakh rupees. And I called my friend and I said that I want to sell the gold to you. Can you say that I'm having the possession of that gold? That gold is already under charge. No, I have taken a loan on the basis of that. Then how can I sell that gold? So first I need to clear that charge money. I need to clear the loan. Then my gold becomes free. Then only I can sell it to another person. So such kind of cases fall under breach of implied warranty as to Now, warranty as to quality and fitness is again having the same meaning. Seller is not bound to reveal any unflattering truths, means something which is not important. Say, for example, I'm the seller. I'm showing you the cloth like this, and you are the people standing in my shop to buy this cloth. So when I'm showing you the cloth, I'm a cloth merchant. The cloth is little torn from this corner, and I'm holding and I'm showing you. So if you have come as a buyer in my shop, won't you just try to feel and test the cloth yourself also? We are that much sensible now that we will also measure it. For example, you tell this what happens generally when you go and tell seller, please cut the cloth, say 1.5 meters for me. Now, if I have cut it just 1 meter, you'll just try to check, now please show me if it's 1 meter or 1.5 meters. If you have not checked it, then it's your fault, my dear. You as a buyer also have certain responsibility. Now, if I'm trying to hold this little torn part from here and I'm saying the cloth is very good, it's very nice, unflattering truths means, matlab main nahi bata rahi hu, I'm hiding that kind of little torn area. But when the buyer sees, he has seen it that it's torn, don't buy it. Don't just put the entire blame on the seller. Use your own common sense also. So law says warranty as to quality and fitness shall also be applicable only and only if there is something where you're relying on seller skill and judgment, and you cannot just make it out what is clear. But otherwise, in general rule, it is your duty. The let the buyer be aware means it is your responsibility to check before buying the goods. And this last one is very important, disclosure of dangerous nature of goods. So if the goods are of dangerous nature, say for example, certain infectious powder. So if I'm selling you that powder and I'm not telling you that please open it carefully, otherwise it can just go into your eyes. And I did not tell that, I did not disclose it. And the buyer just opened it and it went to his eyes. Please go and claim your damages and also file a suit against that person. Because such a kind of dangerous nature of goods, which is used in case of medicines or any other kind of harmful products, any dangerous nature has to be disclosed to the buyer. If you don't disclose, it is a breach of implied warranty and the seller is liable to pay the damages. Clear ho gaya, children? The 4 implied warranties are very much clear now to all of you. Let us quickly go and wind up in the presentation as well. So these are the 4 warranties. Disclosure of dangerous nature. So this is a disinfectant powder which was sold, and if you're not disclosing, it is your fault. Seller becomes liable for the damages. So May 2019, straight away, question number 1, part C, various types of implied warranties. How will you attempt? You will simply write these 4 warranties and 1122 lines and give examples for all these kind of answers. If you write like this, you get 4 out of 4. Doctrine of caveat emptor, something which we have been talking in the class as well. Now, when you go to the last topic of doctrine of caveat emptor, it is just the summary of whatever we have discussed since morning. I told you, let the buyer be aware. How the buyer can be aware? If the buyer had made known the purpose of purchase, buyer had write those ABC 3 conditions which Mr. Kunal also asked me to explain. Remember? Same 3 conditions. It says these 3 conditions have to be applied in order to apply the rule of let the buyer be aware. So if the seller's business is to supply the same goods, buyer is relying on the seller in judgment, buyer has told the purpose for which the goods are purchased, then it is seller's duty that the goods must correspond to my description. So it says general rule is let the buyer be aware. Buyer should be aware before buying. But my dear friend, where buyer tells the seller, what is the purpose? Buyer tells the seller, I want a lehenga for my wedding. So हमने पहले एक boy ने pants बनवाई थी. Now the girl has gone for the wedding lehenga. So buyer told, I want a wedding lehenga for my wedding. And the tailor is a very nice tailor. You have not gone to a shopkeeper, you have gone to the tailor. Obviously, the tailor is very good and the tailor deals in making wedding suits and lehengas. On a dealer is the one who is dealing in making wedding suits and lehenga, and you are relying on the tailor's skill and judgment that please make a beautiful lehenga. So the seller will take all your body measurements and everything will be done. All the contract will be finalized, and you have said that I want a wedding lehenga on 20th of September. So 20th of September came and this seller came to your house to deliver the goods. And when you opened the goods, it was a wedding sari. Can you apply the rule of caveat emptor? Yes or no? Will you say, let the buyer be aware? Children, your test time. You went to purchase wedding lehenga. You relied on seller's skill and judgment. Miss Tanu Yadav, wholesomeness means खाने लायक होना चाहिए. मैंने आपको बिस्किट बेचे, वो बिस्किट खराब थे, बासे थे, आप बीमार हो रहे हो उनको खाकर. That means wholesomeness has been breached. खाने लायक नहीं है जो चीज. For eatable products we use this. Miss Arshdeep, we need to check it with the institute if that's possible. We can do it as well. Miss Ishita, where the buyer has already written certain kind of disclaimers, then you should be aware about that. So when it is already written on medicines that keep it out of reach of children, likha hota hai na? So then you should always keep it out of reach of children. You cannot say that we did not read this. Very good. Miss Masoom, no, we cannot, because here we are relying on the skill and judgment. We cannot apply the rule of caveat emptor, means here the seller will be held liable. कितना बड़ा धोखा कर दिया यार मैंने. वेडिंग लहंगा I have made known the purpose. I'm relying on your skill and judgment, and your business is to make wedding lehengas and suits. And you're giving me sari. Here, rule of caveat emptor will not be applicable. I'm so happy to see the results. Excellent, Himanshu Pathak, Vijay, Manvi, Neha, Rajkumar Singh, Saurabh. Saurabh Verma has a question. We purchased the pen from stationery shop and it is not working. It's definitely your responsibility to check whether the pen is working, and if it's not working in the shop only, please don't buy it. Saurabh, why are you purchasing it? Sakshi, correct. Tanushka, all of you have answered it correctly. Very nice. So children, that means you have understood the concept clearly, and I really feel good when you answer me correctly. So where you are relying on seller's judge and skill and judgment, there it is seller's duty. So here it says the duty of the buyer is to satisfy himself before buying the goods. And if they turn out to be defective or do not serve the purpose, buyer cannot hold the seller liable. So where I've checked, like Saurabh said that I'm purchasing the pen, I've seen it's not working. Still Saurabh purchased that pen, it is Saurabh's fault. If you have purchased the pen, you told the seller you want a pen for writing, you went home and you see there was no nib in the pen, breach of implied condition. Where you have seen the goods, seller is not bound to disclose the defects. Very interesting line. This is about your unflattering truths. Seller थोड़ी ना बताएगा मेरे goods थोड़े खराब हैं मत खरीदो. कल को आप शॉपकीपर बनोगे बताओगे कभी कि थोड़े से खराब भी हैं. शॉपकीपर तो हमेशा यही बोलेगा ना, yes yes it's very nice, buy it. सेल बढ़ानी है, मुझे नुकसान थोड़ी ना करना. So he is never going to disclose the defects. You have to be careful as the buyer. So now all those who are going for the Rakhi shopping today, be careful when you're in the market and don't start applying law then and there only. Just be applying the duties of the buyer. Be aware when you purchase the goods. So go for your shopping, take a trolley bag and be aware there can be a slippery surface. Slippery surface means don't fall down. A caution is better than, caution is always better. So it's better you be cautious when you purchase the things in the market. Ward versus Hobbs is the interesting case law which we'll try to cover in the next session. These are just last slide that I wanted to show you. Exceptions to the rule of caveat emptor. What are the exceptions to the rule of caveat emptor? Whatever we have discussed in the class today, where the goods are purchased under a patent or brand name. So again, your Maggie, Coke example. Seller is not liable if there is any defect. Goods are sold by description. You have to be careful if you have told that description. Now the goods must correspond to that description. This is the duty of the seller. Fitness as to quality and use. We have already done examples in this also. Sale by sample. Seller will be responsible if the goods are not as per sample. Even if the goods are not as per sample and description, then also. Trade usage means if the seller has been regularly dealing in those kind of trades, then the goods must correspond according to that business. Mercantable has also been discussed. Seller actively conceals a defect or guilty of fraud. Now here it is talking about your latent defects. आप खुद बता चुके हो मुझे कि ma'am latent defects means fraud. So my children all know very well now. If the seller is hiding, is painting the broken phone or is pasting the leg of the broken table, here I'm concealing the facts. So rule of caveat emptor is not applicable. It is the duty of the seller to disclose whatever is truthfully has to be disclosed. So these are the certain exceptions to the rule of caveat emptor. All these exceptions are basically implied conditions, which we have already discussed. 2018 6 marks question has directly come. Explain the doctrine of caveat emptor. So you simply have to write down this answer. What is caveat emptor and the exceptions, one line each you can write down. Again, this case study, this is the kind of case study, children, you all were asking. We will discuss it in detail in the class about May 2019 as well as last 2022, 21 year also case studies we'll be discussing in the next class. That will be a kind of test for your chapter 1 and chapter 2. Okay. So you want to do few of the test your knowledge. Okay, yes, Sudhanshu, that's absolutely correct. Thank you, Manvi. Okay, children, Jia Patel, I will check these MCQs that you have given to me. Children, I have noted, and in the previous class, we are going to take up One is MCQ number 26. Somebody has said of unit 1. I'm noting down all your MCQs. Another MCQ 17. Some girl was saying in the beginning. Precaution is better than cure. That's correct. So be careful when you purchase the things. Gurleen is asking for first example of breach of warranty. Others can start doing this first, test your knowledge. I want the answer for this one. So Gurleen, when you are in that first example of breach of implied warranty, it talks about undisturbed possession. So if you have understood breach of implied condition as to title, where we discussed if the person is not the correct owner, the buyer is bound to give the goods back to the true owner and recover the money back from the seller. Okay. Up same case में, because here he is talking about your possession of the goods, their ownership was discussed. So also I have taken the possession means you were earlier driving the cycle, now somebody else, the true owner, has taken it back from you. So you can also claim the damages. This is also the case of breach of implied warranty. Okay, so that's why you claim the damages. Sehajpreet Kaur, I told you if you make the adulterated products, then it is breach of implied condition. That's correct. Even a case can be filed against you, such a kind of sin. Question 30 also, Maheen says, question number 30. All right, don't worry, we'll take these questions. Okay, children, correct answer. Yes, Mr. P. Vishnu, don't worry, we'll definitely summarize the things when we start the next class. So the correct answer, the goods must correspond with the sample. That is this is the case of condition as to sample. Very good. This was in fact very easy. You have done tough questions today with me, so it is very easy for you. This is also very easy. You can do it on your own. Let me give you something which is tough. Okay, try doing this. Breach of warranty, 7th question you have to answer. Breach of warranty can be treated as breach of condition. Yes or no? Mr. Vijay Gaurav, when you're selling the goods under trademark, so if I'm selling you Coke, I cannot give you Limca instead of that. So the duty of the seller is whatever trademark the goods the person is asking, you should provide him that. Very good, children. I could not see a single wrong answer. This was a little tricky. Section 13 says breach of condition can be treated as breach of warranty. But breach of warranty can never be treated as breach of condition. So false is the correct answer. Very good. Ziba, you have written true. That's wrong. Lakshita, you have written true. Other than that, everyone has written the correct answer. Okay, this is good one. Try solving this one, children. H. Om Prasad, that's correct. Charita, answer was correct. Likhit, answer was correct. Narayan, Divesh, Soni, Rohan, Gunjan, Vijay, Harshita, all of you are correct. Yes, Mr. Mohammed Sahil Khan, it's correct. Your comments and answers are coming, don't worry. I'm waiting for the answer for 8th one, children. A woman purchased fairness cream without disclosing to the seller that his chemist abnormally sensitive, and later she resulted into allergy consequently. Is the seller liable for the allergy that she has got. Is the seller liable? Seller is not liable. Seller is liable for medical expenses only, or none of the above. Let me see who answered it wrongly. None of you? I like this explanation. Seller is not liable because rule of caveat emptor becomes applicable. Excellent, Mr. MD, Vijay, Manch, Neha. The first ones to answer, Anaya, Jha, Harshita. Miss Varda has an interesting question for us. I'll just read that question. Yes, Miss Doram Lahari, your answers are coming and it's absolutely correct. Also, seller is not liable. Excellent, children. Give yourself a patting from my side. I'm so happy to see the result today. All of you are answering it so nicely. So, yes, kahan gaya wo question somebody was asking. Miss Varda Fatima says, how can we recognize that the situation is of a condition or warranty? So, previous lecture, first 10 minutes, listen to what is the definition of condition and warranty. You are actually asking from where we started. So, child, anything representation that the seller is making while selling the goods, other children can start doing the next question. Or you want to do this one? Okay, try doing this one. Okay, so where you have told the seller the purpose for which the goods are required, and it is very important purpose for forming the contract, that is the condition. But the other things which are just related to the part of the contract, for example, you purchase the washing machine, you told him, I want a Whirlpool washing machine, which should be 6 kg clothes can cover it. So everything was there. So it is a condition and it was fulfilled. But there were certain manufacturing defects which you want a repair for. In that case, it will be considered as a breach of implied warranty. It is a related part to the contract. It is known as a part of warranty. It is not a condition which is bound to be fulfilled. All right, children. Himanshu Patak and Sayam have also given the answers. In case the goods are sold by sample, the goods should correspond with the sample. Otherwise, the buyer can reject the goods. Buyer cannot reject the goods. Contract is terminated. Seller is liable to punishment. What will happen in such a case? Manvi Khanna is correct. Anaya Jha is correct. Balasajjan Lakshmi is correct. Finally, I got your full name over here. It doesn't come incomplete. Miss Lakshmi. Buyer can reject the goods. Absolutely correct. Lakshita, Anusha Bhatt. Buyer can reject the goods if they are not as per the sample. Definitely, this is the first option, which is the correct option. So, children, if you, in case, have any doubts, you can write to me. Otherwise, I hope you enjoyed today's session. Again, there is another person, Mr. Doki Sai Kedarnath, saying that I've scored good marks in CA Foundation and did it in first attempt. Congratulations, Mr. Doki. And all those children who have just come to announce the result today, I'm proud of you. Congrats and wishing you a lot of good wishes for your further journey in CA as well. All of you are correct. Anjana, 10th answer A tha. That's absolutely correct. Sakshi and otherwise, yes. Miss Manchi Sharma, you're correct. Priti Sharma is correct. Children, so I hope you don't have any doubts. We have been clearing the doubts in between the session also today. So thank you very much for being such a patient listener and giving the answers so nicely. Wishing a very happy Rakhi to all of you. Have a safe and nice festive mood tomorrow. Goodbye. See you all after day after tomorrow. Thank you, students. Goodbye.